Welcome everybody to our Business Made Easy call. We just want to thank you ahead of time for taking the time out of your evening to join us. This is we only get to do this presentation once a month, which kind of makes us giggle because we're like, oh my goodness, like here it is again. But we do really enjoy it, and I think it stretches us, and it makes us grow to have to put our brains together on this and convey all of this well and succinctly. So I would encourage you to have in your brain, it's not going to take a full hour, I don't think, but 45 minutes, I would say. And then probably some Q&A at the end. Grab a beverage that you love or a glass of water. We don't have, it was Pam who asked, I believe, we don't have a handout specifically for this. If you want a PDF of something that kind of corresponds, we can get you that in the build guide, but I would encourage you to kind of just take notes as we go and jot some things down. Grab an oil if you need to. Use your peppermint, wake yourself up. And one thing I want to say before we get started, that if you've seen our Building a Pipeline presentation that we do at the end of our Essential Oils Made Easy and continuing education classes, you're going to see there's 5% overlap with the content, but it comes at the beginning. So if you start seeing that and you're like, oh my goodness, I've already seen it, don't panic. It's just a little snippet of overlap there. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat box, or you can wait till the end when we do some Q&A. And I think that before we get started with this kind of a presentation, we're just going to give a little bit of a background and introduction on what brings us here to this call. So most you guys know me. My name is Amy. So I'm a diamond, and I've been with doTERRA for 7 years. And I like to take the time to share about the business side of doTERRA with others because of what it has meant to our family. And really what started as just a way for me to be home with our babies turned into something that has changed the fabric of how our family lives our life, and has covered us in an unexpected loss of a job and so many different things. So it's been a really meaningful thing for us. So it's important to me to take the time to share about it with others too.
So I think you all know me, but I'm Melissa, and I'm a doTERRA Platinum, and I've been using doTERRA oils for a long time, for about 7 years, and actually building a business for about 5. And if I'm really honest with you, I will say that I had no plan of talking to anybody about essential oils. But right after I got mine, we had a stuffed up toddler visiting our home, and I totally couldn't help myself. I offered her mom a natural solution called Breathe Respiratory Blend, and I honestly hadn't even opened the bottle. But both the mom and the baby were really happy with the relief that happened. And since then, my journey has been high speed at times and much slower at others. But overall, I've steadily built the idea of residual income into a reality.
I think it's important to say that no matter where you're coming from on this, even if you're somebody who just really loves to use your oils and live the doTERRA lifestyle, but you're curious, you're super welcome here. You won't feel weird here. Maybe you're somebody who wants to share oils like we talked about with your friends and family and earn that free natural health care, get your oils paid for, and you'll feel really comfortable here too. Okay, it's good that you're here. And if you're somebody who's I want to put in 15 to 20 hours a week and I want to create a business and focus on that, supplement or replace my income, then that's great too. You'll enjoy what you hear as well. What you want to create and how far you want to take this is totally up to you. We're going to provide you with the information you need so you can decide how this might fit into your life. One last thing before we dive in, and I think that this is something that we've added in some of the recent months, and I think it's really important to address this. This format of how we talk about the business here is unique because we do spend 45 minutes, almost an hour, talking about it, and we're sharing more of our passion, of our hearts behind it. And I think that finding that balance between sharing the amazing things that doTERRA offers to us as wellness advocates without making extravagant claims or promises, because doTERRA is super generous and they have it's a very wonderful thing that they have going on. They're not flashy, no new cars, fancy things, diamond rings, none of that. It's about helping the most, and honestly your life is then changed in the process, and that means financially too. So we're going to work hard to be honest and straightforward about the life-changing potential of doTERRA's business opportunity, but also knowing that this isn't an overnight thing. It takes commitment and work, those kinds of things. So we're in really unique times. So we just don't want you guys to feel like we're like making any claims or doing anything like that. So, all right, here we go.
So let's just like explore the opportunity. I want you to take a minute or two and just write some things down. One thing I always ask people is, what would be the best part of running your own business? Just like consider this for a minute. There's no right or wrong answer, but what appeals to you about running your own business? I guess that's the first one. And the second one would be, how do you feel about network marketing? I honestly didn't feel super good about it when I started talking to people about doTERRA. It wasn't something that I had dreamed about doing my whole life. And a lot of people have some baggage in this area, and sometimes it takes some time to reframe that. So I just want you to be thinking about that. How do you feel about an MLM? Do you have a good response, a bad response? Are you indifferent? Are you excited or maybe reluctant? Again, no wrong answer. Another thing is, like, what intrigues you about the opportunity of doTERRA? Like, there's a reason you took the time to be on this call and listen to us talk about it. So I'm just curious, what's that reason? And maybe you could jot that down too. And then the last thing would be, what would residual income mean for your family? We're talking about income that you would earn even when you're not exchanging time for hours. So you'd earn it while you're sleeping or taking vacation or taking a break because you're sick or someone you love is sick. What would it mean if you got paid outside of 9 to 5 or paid outside of that third shift? So those are the things that we want you to be thinking about while we're talking.
Another question that we want to just be able to consider as a group is like, what does financial freedom mean to you? And I usually share like a little bit about our story, but I think what I want to say here in this slide is it means something different to every family. For you, it might mean like the money that it takes to cover like the groceries that you need, the payments that weigh on you, the mortgage. Financial freedom might be enough for you to cut back on your hours and be more available with the people you love, and financial freedom in like maybe a larger sense, like capital financial freedom, like capital FF would be like, what would it mean for you to have the resources to like do the things that you were super passionate about in whatever capacity you wanted to, that a lot of times it's going to look like giving back to the things that you want to give back to. And, if you weren't even thinking about, paying your bills and covering those expenses, what would be the things that you would be able to do? Like, that's like a significant financial freedom in that way. So I guess just some questions for you to consider there. Mom, what would you say?
Oh my goodness, you just lobbed that to me and I am not ready.
Sorry, I switched what I was going to say totally.
I know, I'm like, whoa, about how I feel about financial freedom.
Yeah, what does it mean to you?
It has given me the opportunity to move back home for 3 weeks and help my mom die a year ago. Like, that was huge. And every time we've had a grandbaby, I've been able to take time off. And what financial freedom has meant for us, I guess, and this is really like totally off the cuff, is time freedom, which is invaluable to me when we are talking about having adult children and all these grandchildren, and we want to invest in them heavily. So doTERRA has allowed me to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if I had to weigh the two, I think like time freedom is like, I know the slide talks about financial, but time freedom is so important. Like, imagine my family and I have spent a whole year together, like waking up and having like no commitments, right? Like just togetherness as the commitment in a sense. And that that forever changed our worlds. Like, I don't think until we really had it that we realized what that would mean. So just some thoughts, some things for you to consider.
So I'm like, okay, so I'm moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on. So let's just talk about the difference between a traditional job versus authentic direct sales. So just like, again, we're trying to help you identify, like, where do you fall in this scale. With the traditional job, I already said once, you're trading hours for dollars. There's a limit on your advancement in earnings. You have limited time freedom, and you're building someone else's dream. It doesn't allow for a lot of financial freedom unless it pays you really well and you live well beneath your means. There are limitations. When you clock out and go home, you're not getting paid. There's a limit to what you can earn. Most jobs have ceilings. You need approval for a vacation. Like, I just literally sat by my mom's bedside for 3 weeks, and I didn't have to ask anybody for approval to do that. So you're working for your own dream. Actually, you're working for someone else's dream at that point. But if you're looking at authentic direct sales, and I really want to stress the word authentic, you've got true residual income. You can take time off, you still get paid. You've developed an asset with no limits on advancement and earning. You can earn on the compensation plan in endless ways, which we can teach you about. And you get to choose your own schedule. So, for example, I like to work late at night when my house is quiet. You can work early, late, in the middle of the day, whatever works for you. And like I was saying, instead of building somebody else's dream, you get to build your own dream, your own business, and what you want for your life, instead of letting someone else decide about it.
So we're going to consider the question of why doTERRA, which it takes a couple of slides to really more than scratch the surface, like delve a little bit into really why. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is we already believe in the oils if we're on this call, but let's talk about the effectiveness. Let's talk about the oils that literally pure gold we have sitting in our homes. The fact that they are the most tested and most trusted oils on the market. Over 8.5 million customers. We've talked about 110 countries doTERRA is in. That's significant. Being used by doctors and hospitals worldwide. You think about the medical advisory board and the scientific research being done and the partnerships, that's super significant. And then the record-breaking retention rate, 65%. If the oils didn't work, people would not be ordering. I wouldn't reorder them. Would you reorder them? So I think that really speaks to itself as far as that. And just one quick note about the retention rate. A low retention rate, if it were a low retention rate, what that means is constantly having to look for new customers. That's, I think, that part about network marketing that can dog people of I'm constantly looking for people, or I feel like everyone has a target on their back. And when you have an amazing product like this and wonderful retention rate, you're not always, it really cuts down on that dynamic.
Let's talk about how this company has proven itself. It's the largest essential oil company in the world with a growth rate similar to Apple. It took 7 years to get to 1 billion sales, and that's a record in the direct sales world. Maybe this is an optimal time to do this because things have been wacky in 2020, and maybe your job security has changed. Maybe you're getting super serious about your health and you're excited about finding other opportunities for income. Maybe you had a great job and great job security a few months ago, and now you're not really sure. Or maybe you're realizing that you need to take ownership of your health. This is just a good time to be in the health and wellness industry. So there are 120 plus markets open worldwide with doTERRA. So if you have cousins in Europe or family in Brazil, I want to know that, but no, you can definitely help them out. This company is privately owned and it's debt-free without any outside funding.
Okay, let's talk about the caring aspect of doTERRA. The heart of the company is so caring, all right? The partnerships with growers around the world, the Global Botanical Network, is unbelievable. How do I say, we're talking rather than marrying off your 12-year-old daughter to an arranged marriage, and having to sell yourselves or do really hard things, people are now able to grow products that provide crops that provide income for their family and have changed the makeup of their families too. Vetiver in Haiti, stop over harvesting. We'll pay you well. We'll pay you fairly. We'll pay you on time. You need to be paid more often. We'll spread out your payments. You need fresh water. We'll get you fresh water. We're in Nepal, where people are working really hard and they need opportunities. They need opportunities for education. And doTERRA can go in, pay them fairly, give them long-term contracts for security, and is empowering people all over. So I think that's super important. And most of the countries that they're working in are like third world countries. And I think that it's been really amazing over the years that I've been able to work with doTERRA to see how they're almost always like on the ground first, literally, because they're already on the ground when like something happens, an earthquake, things. They're like there on deck ready to help because they're like literally there on the ground. And I think that's really amazing. Their nonprofit is Healing Hands, a foundation, and they focus on giving back millions of dollars we're talking about. They are giving back in big ways. And remember, this is an organization that gives 100% of what you donate to the people in need because doTERRA covers the overhead costs. I think that's really important. As you grow your doTERRA business, other lives are lifted. It's so true. It's so true. And if it weren't this way, I don't think that any of us would be nearly as interested. Every purchase that we make, that our customers make, changes a grower's life and their communities. There's like a ripple effect of positive effects of people not being taken advantage of people being really lifted up. If you want to learn more about what that looks like and hear the stories and see the 8 guiding sourcing principles, sourcetoyou.com is an amazing place to go to look at that. I could talk about it all night, but I won't.
So here's some questions you might have, and I'm going to say, let's just dig into you. These are the 4 basic questions that most everybody has. How do I make money? How much time is involved? Would this work for me, or do I have what it takes, and what's the next step? So we're going to go over all of those. We're going to take turns.
Okay, so first up, how do I make money? This is like my favorite slide because it's so simple and I love simple things. And it really is this simple as far as the process is concerned. So when we're in the process, we start with a sample of an oil for somebody. And we would sample someone for an ailment or something going on that's like simple and basic. Allergies, headache, knee pain, sleep, etc. We don't start off with a sample for Lyme's disease or lupus or cancer, not because oils aren't helpful for those things. It's because a small quarter dram of an oil won't change their life in that one moment. You're looking for something that shows them like the quick effectiveness of the oils, because there's quick things that it's effective for, and there's also the long-term use of them that changes things significantly too. All right, so there are tons of things we can use oils for and have quick results. And you don't have to be a nurse or like a doctor or a medical expert to sample well. You can sample people well by looking things up in your book or your app, even with this very limited understanding. It's like a very natural overflow of caring for people. Did I cut out or am I still here?
You're still there.
Okay, thanks. Okay, then we teach them, right? They've had a positive oil experience. Now it's time to teach them and to invite them how to learn more about oils. So they would come to an Essential Oils Made Easy class. Remember, my mom and I, Melissa and I, do them every Thursday. We do them at 1 p.m. and 8 p.m., alternating those times. So you can attend one and see what that is like. You could bring somebody you've sampled to one of those virtual classes. You could do your own. There's a lot of different ways you could do this, but they need to be able to learn about oils. And then you help them enroll. And all this means is helping them pick a kit that meets their budget and meets their needs. And the final thing that you do is you support people, right? You don't just leave them high and dry. You support them with continuing education to help them use their oils and understand what other products might be beneficial to them. And again, we have our Saturday morning continuing education. We have our once a month product calls, all the different things that you can help engage your people in. But really offering that support is a key part of this process in making money.
So you might be wondering, like, how much time is involved?
Hold on. Okay. What did I do here? Oh, look, I showed you all the things. Okay, so I'm not actually going to click on it, But there, look at that. That's so handy that I did that. I'm really proud of myself. There is a website that shows every one of the classes coming up for each one of these topics. Okay, moving on. Sorry, I was super proud of myself.
Holy cow. Okay, my old brain can't do this. So how much time is involved is totally up to you. Maybe you want to make enough to cover the cost of the oils that you're using. That's great. We refer to that as free natural health care. Doing something like that would take about 3 to 5 hours per week. Essentially, you would be dropping off samples to people and then inviting them to one of our weekly essential oil made easy classes that Amy just talked about that alternate on Thursdays. You'd help them set up their oil account, and you'd point them toward those Saturday morning continuing ed classes that we do. If you wanted to make more money than that, maybe $600 would be significant. For some people, $2,000 per month would be significant. So then you'd need to put in more time, like maybe 10 to 15 hours per week. And if you wanted to replace your income like Amy and I do, I'd say at least 15 hours a week, and sometimes upwards of 30 hours per week. I mean, I'm going to say we work hard. We try to work smart, but we work hard. We've never seen anyone replace their income doing this, working less than 15 hours a week. And even if you're working full time, though, you can probably put in 3 hours a day and still manage to build residual income.
The question here is, could this work for you? So, right, we've talked about you are going to want to be passionate about your oils. You're going to want to be able to authentically share because you love doTERRA's oils and products. You have to care about people enough to sample them and care for them and follow up with them, and walk that process with them. And then following the system and executing the things that you need to do. So if you're answering yes to all those things, that's a wonderful thing. Okay, this slide, my mom just hates this slide. I'm just kidding. No, she does. She really does. Guys, have you ever read the book or heard of the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Put it in the chat box if you have. Put it in the chat box. So what I want to consider here, don't worry, you won't hate me by the end of this. How does doTERRA fit into these quadrants? And really the idea is considering a different mindset when it comes to like making money. You might already think this way about what I'm going to talk about, but not everyone has really considered some of these things. So I think it lays in a very important foundation for our conversation. Oh, Melissa Werner, you just wrote that you read it. Are you being funny or somebody else?
No, I said buy it. I thought read it. I'm like, read it.
I said Reddit. I was looking at Reddit. I was like, you read it and you never told me? Okay. Okay, in the top left is like you're an employee. You have a job. You exchange time for money. You don't have a lot of leverage. You're working for a boss or a manager who tells you what to do, and there really is no time freedom. Okay, if we move down to the bottom left, now you're self-employed. This is maybe where doTERRA starts to fit in a little bit. You own the job. You exchange time for money still. You still don't really have a lot of leverage. A good example would be like a coach or a trainer. A trainer still has to show up to get paid, right? Flexibility can maybe set the schedule that he or she wants to have, but still doesn't get paid if they don't show up. So that flexibility is nice to be able to set your own schedule, but you can't totally step away. And so these two models right here that we looked at might be like the only thing that you'd ever really thought about. So let's move over to the right side. So top right is a business owner. So you're owning a system in a sense, and people are working for you. So in doTERRA, you're building doTERRA and you're teaching people how to do this too. You're earning money that pays you, and they're earning money that pays you as well. Outside of doTERRA in this quadrant, maybe you're a business owner, you own your own brick and mortar store, and you have employees that help you run it. But if your employees quit, or if they can't come in, or something happens, like you're going to have to go in and take over and keep things running. You're still kind of hooked to it. And the other reality here is, as a business owner, there's typically tons of overhead, and it can take a while to get a business off the ground. And then the bottom right, this is money working for you. This is passive income. And this is the key. It is not dependent on your presence being there. I'll just repeat that one more time. It is not dependent on your presence being there. So in doTERRA, what this looks like is you're enrolling people and helping people who are doing that as well, and so on and so forth. And the compensation plan in doTERRA, which we will talk about next, is so generous that once you have developed a strong organization, a lot of people working within your organization, you are able to take that time off, not like years off. And that's fine because like if you're going to do this in that sense, you love what you're doing. But I'm thinking in my own personal life, like the time off I've taken to have my babies, the time we took off to move, settle into a new home, time off over the holidays. So taking that time off and still getting paid the same amount, that's passive income. And so one other point I would make about this is that when you put in a lot of time early, and then it continues to pay you over and over again in the long run. Okay, so this is maybe different than what you've like thought or what you've like had your mindset thinking about this, but the key is to start thinking on the right side in the last two quadrants we talked about. And I read 3 things about these 2 quadrants that we just talked about that I think are super spot on. So if you want to be in those 2 quadrants, there are 3 things that they found that you would have. Number 1, you maintain a long-term vision and plan. Number 2, you believe in delayed gratification. And number 3, you use the power of compounding in your favor. So, okay, I'm done now, but hopefully that was interesting for some of you. Melissa says go read the book because she's not going to read it.
I've got the big yawns. Okay, so here's the dilemma. This is where I am. This is my age grouping. We all want to retire at 60, but oftentimes our savings don't match that desire. So let's break this down a little bit further. There's some stats here. I do kind of like this part, Amy. The average American needs $4,500 per month to live after retirement. We're talking housing, food, basics like electric, utilities, that kind of thing. The number can go up or down depending on where you live and what the economy is doing. A nest egg is what you really need. That means if you want to retire tomorrow, you would need over 1 million saved up in some sort of investment that pays you interest in order to be able to have that $4,500 per month. And almost no one has that kind of savings. A person would need to work for 40 years, saving $500 per month at 6% interest to accumulate that $1 million. And another way to look at that is you'd have to start working at age 20 and work all the way to age 60, saving $6,000 per year. Do you know many people that have done that? Do you really know anyone that has? I think it's sad to say not many people are doing that. 75% of people at age 50 have less than $5,000 in savings. And at age 50, most of us are only 1 decade away from that desired retirement age, right? So 98% of retired people depend on outside financial sources, which isn't wrong. It's just, however, we don't know the state of Social Security, pensions, and all those things, and things that we are promised aren't always delivered.
Mm-hmm. I yawned during that, but I thought it was good, Mom. I thought it was good. Okay, why direct sales? All right. So some of I think are huge perks to what we're talking about here. A built-in business model. I don't think I need to say anything more than this. Product sourcing, order fulfillment, billing and customer service, no inventory, shipping, or overhead requirements. Do you guys all know, the friend you have that has a whole room, a whole closet of supplies for their direct sales business? No, not so much. So you don't need that. doTERRA takes care of that for you. And that's really, really important. Saves you a ton of headache too. Built-in education system. You think about the product trainings and the business trainings and the leadership development, the things that doTERRA offers to us to help us are significant and they're amazing. And then the low startup costs. Okay, so your only financial commitment is 100 PV loyalty rewards order every month. And essentially what you're doing there is you're getting products that you're already buying for your household. So it's super important to understand this, like why this is in place. doTERRA is not interested in a bunch of salespeople who don't know anything about oils running around like trying to sell them to other people. For example, what if you don't know anything about oregano? So here I am, Amy. I've never actually used my oils, but I'm gonna try and sell them to people. And my neighbor Sally is like, Amy, I've got this dye. And I was like, I read online that you should put oregano on it. Like, what do you think? Is that good? And I'm like, yeah, sure, do it. And she goes and puts oregano on her sty. And then that's the end. Okay. So personal testimonies with your oils and your doTERRA products means that you give good advice. It means that you're actually helpful to people. Okay. So you have to be a product of the product. Okay, this slide talks about the different income opportunities. So if you didn't already grab a piece of paper, grab a piece of paper now, okay? And something that I want you to write down again is, I'm gonna zoom in on this image, but like, what do you want to create? That could be like, live, share, build. That could be like, this is how much money a month I want. It can be any of those things, but we're gonna dive into these ranks. And I just wanna reiterate that we are not making any claims, but I think it's important to show a visual of what different ranks look like and average times to achieve them and average income that you make at them. One final note, I've realized that sometimes, I don't know, maybe Mom, you knew, I hope you know this. I think we maybe learned this later on. The average income that you're gonna see is your average income when you hit that rank 12 months in a row. It's not the first time you hit it or the 50th time you hit it. It's like consistently hitting it for a year straight, all right? Okay, here we go. So we're zooming in here. We're starting at the rank of executive. So that would be 2,000 OV. You can see that right here. That's $2,000 in sales essentially every month. On average, you are earning $100 a month. That's mostly getting your oils paid for. And if you are working the correct amount of hours a week and doing the right things, the average time to get there would be 2 months. Okay. Now we're looking at elite. Now you're at $3,000 in sales a month, but your average monthly income is around $300. And the average time to get there would be 3 months. This is getting your oils paid for and maybe some of your business supplies paid for too. Maybe a little extra spending money depending on what's going on in your life. Premier and silver, for some people, we're looking at maybe the start of like some supplemental income, paying rent, paying a mortgage. It just depends. These are really good ranks to aim for if you like really want to solidify that free natural health care into supplementing your income. So again, you can see average monthly income, average time to get there, so on and so forth. These are the ranks of gold and beyond, okay? These are the ranks that you would be looking at if you want to replace your income. So gold and platinum, again, depending on where you live or what you're used to, that could definitely replace your income. We're looking at, almost $5,000 a month as an average income for gold. Platinum is almost $10,000 a month. And then diamond above, you can see how those numbers really change. I mean, that's like, we're looking at financial freedom in like the capital financial freedom sense there. And when you start looking at numbers like that, I just want to remind you that you're not, it allows you to stop thinking about yourself and to start giving back in big, big ways. And that's significant. I really think that's meaningful.
Okay, Aim, let's start talking about how to earn money. This is the compensation plan, the details of how to do it. We think it's really good to talk about this because the way you make money in doTERRA is different than in any other MLM. I'm going to try to make this very easy, even though there's a lot of different strategy you can use. If it doesn't make sense, like a ton of sense this first time you hear it, don't worry about it. It's normal. Typically, people need to hear it over and over again. Many people need to hear it multiple times, and that would definitely be true of myself. I'm like really high on the relational scale if you haven't figured that out already. So, but there are a lot of resources to help you learn this, and Amy is really good at this too. So the bottom line is that you can earn money in so many different ways with doTERRA. When you get a new job, you don't worry about figuring out their pay structure. It's important, but you don't obsess about it. And what's important is learning how to do your new job. And you want to focus on what we're helping you to do, not necessarily in how you get paid, and the rest will come, I promise. So the first one is called Fast Start, and it's a cool part of our compensation plan because it pays you every single week. This is because every single time someone enrolls, you get this bonus. So let's just say you're the purple person. You talk to your neighbor, Amy. She comes to a class and she enrolls. She gets a 100 PV kit, so you get 20%. We're going to do really easy math here because it helps me do this. So think in your mind, if it's a 100 PV kit and you get 20%, how much do you earn? You're enrolling her and you're going to get $20. So let's just say that neighbor Amy is very social and she enrolls her brother Joe right away. And because Amy enrolled Joe, she gets the 20% because she did the work. And Joe also ordered a 100 PV kit. How convenient. And so how much money does Amy earn? She earns 20%, which is $20. So you know who else gets paid though? You do, because you enrolled Amy. It goes back to you and you get 10% of Joe's order. You might have been at home watching Netflix that night and you still get the $10 from doTERRA, which isn't bad for not doing anything, right? So now Joe, our friend Joe, is obsessed with frankincense and he tells his friend Sue. So Joe enrolls Sue and Joe gets 20% because he just enrolled Sue. And she ordered 100% because she knows math is hard for me. So Joe gets the $20. 10% gets paid to Amy because she helped Joe, and then 5% gets paid to you for helping Amy, who helped Joe, who helped Sue. I did it! So thanks, Deb. Thanks for the love. So you get paid 3 times on Fast Starts. You get paid when you enroll people, when those people enroll people, and when those people enroll people. So you can earn that 20%, but the 10 and 5% likely happen when you're doing something else. That's what we're referring to when we say passive income. And that's why it's important to find people right away who are passionate about their oils and who want to share about health and wellness and who have a natural talent for sales and for helping people. So you get this check every week and it lasts, this Fast Start bonus lasts for 60 days. So everything Amy orders, Joe orders, and Sue orders for 60 days you get paid on. So you're getting paid on their initial order and any subsequent orders for the first 60 days that they're enrolled. So before I go on, do you have any questions or should I just keep rolling? Have I overwhelmed you with my example?
I thought you did.
We'll go on to Amy.
Yeah, you watch the chat box, okay. You're Fast Start guru. Okay, power of 3. This is paid monthly, paid on the 15th a month, and it's paid out based on the structure of your organization. You need like certain parameters to make this happen. The people who help you qualify for this bonus have to be placing loyalty rewards orders, LRP orders. As someone who is interested in the business, one of the best things you do after you enroll somebody is you make sure they get plugged into continuing education, that they get a follow-up important appointment, that they get the help incorporating their products and ordering on LRP. It's best for them and best for you. If somebody's not ordering on loyalty rewards, they're not using their oils. It means they're missing out. They're sitting in their cabinet essentially, okay? So at first, you're gonna earn your little structure here. So let's look at these 4 people right here. Okay, so let's say everyone's ordering regularly right here, showing up for classes. You're gonna earn a $50 bonus. All of your orders right here between these nice colorful 4 people right here needs to add up to 600 PV, but I'm not going to go into much detail beyond that because we'll help you with that when you get to the appropriate time. Okay, all you need to know is that you have the opportunity to earn the $50 every single month. Okay, once you have earned your $50 bonus, it is your prerogative to turn around to help these 3 people earn their $50 bonus, right? I got a bonus. I want you to be able to get that too. And if you help these 3 people each get their 50, here's teal's got their 50, orange and green. If they all have their 50, doTERRA will pay you $250 every month. So once you've gotten your 250, all right, now your job is to go help these 9 people get their $50 bonus, okay? So you can see helping each one of those, all those 9 people do that. And if you do that, doTERRA will pay you $1,500 every month. Okay, so it takes a little bit of structure, a little bit of strategy. But I'm telling you that like $1,500 a month every month, I think can be a very life-changing amount of money. That can be a game changer. So if this is something you're really like wanting to focus in and hone in on, I would encourage you to communicate with your upline, your mentor, and tell them that you want to work towards this, and to help you with that. Mostly, I think helping you understand that you have the potential again to get $1,500. And fun fact, you can get this bonus multiple times. So if you've done it once, you can do it again. There's somebody who gets $6,000 a month because she does her power of 3 4 times over. And so that's enough money to live on right there. That's kind of amazing. So, all right, we're going to Unilevel. Did I miss any questions in the chat box, Mom?
No, we're good. I think they're speechless. They're just, they're holding their heads.
They're sleeping.
We scared them.
Okay, so here's Unilevel. So doTERRA pays us over and over again. We get all different kinds of bonuses. One isn't necessarily more important than the others. They're all good. Okay, so we're not going to skip anything. Hang in there with us. This is Unilevel. In the beginning, Fast Start is your bread and butter, but later your Unilevel will grow, and it will be the biggest part of your paycheck if you're faithful with your business. So I want you to pay attention to these circle numbers here on the left, 1 through 7. Got them right there? So in doTERRA, when people are on your first level, right? So after you get paid your Fast Start, those 60 days are over, you're still going to earn, and you're going to earn based on where they are in your organization. On the first level, you get paid 2%. On the second level, you get paid 3%. So on and so forth, all the way down. So in doTERRA, do you guys notice this? The deeper you go in your organization, the more you get paid, and the more people that you have there as well, right? You've got more people on your 7th level than you do on your first. Okay, so this is really significant, so you can get paid the most. A unilevel compensation plan is like the best kind of compensation plan. But here's what doTERRA has done. There's a difference in their unilevel. So if you look at this kind of grayed out on the right, this would be like a typical unilevel plan. So you can see levels 1 through 7, same thing, but I want you to really look here at these percentages. So this is inverted here. On level 1, you're getting paid the most. That's 7%, where you have the least amount of people. And you can see how that plays out all the way down to your 7th level, where you have the most amount of people. You're only getting 2%. This is not setting you up to win. doTERRA sets us up to win, and let's just look at the payout difference then. So this is in just 1 month's time, the difference in pay if you take doTERRA's unilevel compensation versus a typical unilevel compensation plan, that's a $20,000 difference in 1 month. That's the generosity I'm talking about. Okay, so I think it's really important to understand how phenomenal this comp plan is, and that it really does set you up to win in more ways than one.
So then we get paid some more. So I'm going to talk about the leadership bonus pools just really quickly. They're actually leadership performance pools. So at the level of Premier and above, you get paid a portion of what the company earned that month. If the company earns X amount of millions of dollars, they take 7% of those millions and they divide it up amongst all the leaders who qualified for it that month. Mm-hmm. So the ranks of Premier, Silver, and Gold earn 1.25%, and Silver, Gold, and Premier 2%, and Diamond, Blue Diamond, and Presidential Blue Diamond earned 4%. These are really nice bonuses, and they add up really quickly.
Mm-hmm. It's like profit sharing. The empowerment bonus is actually a bonus that was added, I think, 2 years ago to help grow our paychecks. And they've made a couple updates to it. The bottom line is at the ranks of Premier and Silver and Gold, you are going to get an extra share. When you are hitting that rank, you're enrolling somebody each month. And you're going to get like a nice little slice of the pie. It can range anywhere from, I don't know, maybe 150 to 250 a month for a share. And then you can see like at Gold, you're getting 2 of those shares. And so this helps us get paid well.
So, how can you earn money in one more way? I just want you to understand what that power of 3 that Amy was talking about, or did you call it power of 3, Amy? Or am I just, yeah, okay. We're going to talk about what this kind of income really means. So hang with me for a minute. At level 1, when you're building for that $50 power of 3 with doTERRA, it can take you maybe 3 months to get this in place, depending on how strategic you are and how hard you want to work. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, it would take you $12,000 invested at 5% in order to earn $50 per month. So which is the better path for you? Most of us don't have $12,000 to invest. And even if you did, where would you be earning 5%? It's more likely that you would earn 1 to 1.5%. So have you ever thought about or calculated how long it could take you to save or accumulate $12,000? Here's an alternative. How about level 2? We don't just earn $250 when we do the level 2 power of 3. We earn it residually. When you add it all together, $250 times 12 is $3,000 a year. And most of you, if you're honest, probably don't get a $3,000 a year raise. The average amount of time to make this $250 is about 6 months. Again, I don't want to make promises. It really depends on the effort you want to put in and the strategy. But could you put in 6 months of time to get $250 monthly in residual income is the question. Or instead, you could invest $60,000 and earn 5% interest on that, which could earn you $250 per month. I think it's easier to build power of 3 by trying to save and invest the $60,000. Well, let's look at level 3. This is earning that $1,500 bonus. This might take you 18 months to 2 years. Some are faster, some are slower. There's a bigger range on how long this one takes. But this would be an $18,000 bonus per year. You would accomplish this by enrolling 30 or so people and helping them all get on a strong monthly LRP. Or instead, you could try saving $360,000 and investing it at 5%. I think you might be trying to catch my drift. I'm not trying to make this sound like you snap your fingers and accomplish this kind of money. It takes work and it takes dedication. And this is definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme. But the truth is, for me, I don't know of any better way to get residual income than with doTERRA. This for us has been an unheard of opportunity. My husband Bob is a former financial planner, and he has just been super impressed by the compensation plan.
And if you kind of take that same kind of idea and look at like what you're earning in your unilevel at certain ranks. So let's look at silver. Average income is $2,200 a month. That's over $26,000 a year. Maybe it's like, oh, I'm only silver, but that's residual income. And that means, right, you're earning it month after month, like we've talked about it. Most people maybe take a year to reach there, again, with the right work, 15 hours a week. And if you want that kind of money and you don't want to do doTERRA, you would essentially need the $528,000 invested, earning 5%. You can see at Gold what that would be, $4,500 a month. Average time to reach it is 30 months, or $900,000 invested, earning 5%. This is you, Mom. Or is this me or you?
Well, it's me. Somebody just texted me and it bleeped out. So just a second here. Let me get back.
It's you. Yeah. I really like it, so I got excited, but it's you.
Well, do you want to do it? I can do it.
No,
you can do it. Okay. So we're going to talk about let's look at planning for the future. So I lost my screen there, Amy. I lost the slide.
Oh, you lost your slide. Do you want me to help then?
Yeah, can you help?
Okay, so this is putting right next to each other like a doTERRA 10-year plan versus like a traditional 10-year plan. Okay, so your current path that you're on might be on the left here, depending on what job you have. Year one, maybe you're like right out of college, right? Beginning of your traditional job career. Maybe you're getting $2,000 to $3,000 increases year over year. You're excited, it's promising. You're like, can't wait to see what it turns into. This is like a great thing. This is worth working for. But again, just something for you to consider. If you look here on the other side at doTERRA's 10-year plan, let's just say you take it super slow the first 2 years. Like you kind of piddle around. It's not a lot. 1,200, 3,600. Year three, there's over 9,000, almost 10,000. Still not much to write home about, but it is residual income. Silver in year four, that's feeling pretty good. And note that year five, wow, okay, almost 60,000. And then, that's what I wanted to say. Year five, look at each plan. Year five is just about the same. Okay. We're at just about the same point in year five in each plan. You can start to see that nothing is flashy so far, but in year six, things really start to change. Your income has doubled from gold to platinum and platinum to diamond. It's almost doubled again. Again, even if you don't want to go big, you could still exponentially earn more and more money putting your time, energy, effort into doTERRA for 6 to 7 years than you would in most careers. Okay, next steps. A couple things that we think are important to talk about. Make sure you have an account. Okay. If you don't already have one, you're actually at an advantage because you can be strategic about how you go about it. But make sure you've got your account. Make sure you set up your loyalty rewards order, right? 100 PV. All right. If you already have a wholesale membership, make sure that you've upgraded to a wellness advocate. It is free. There is no cost. You just put in your social security number so you have the ability to earn a commission check. All right. Then you tap into existing resources. We've got the daily mentor calls for you. These are 50 calls you can take at your own pace. They help you train and grow. You can be more aggressive. You can listen to them very quickly. You can do the oil games. You just kind of need to tell us what you want, what pace you want to go at, and we will plug you into what would be appropriate. And really then start making your list and sampling people. Some of those trainings and resources are going to walk you through that. But that's really where it begins, is thinking about like, who can I bring freedom to? Like emotional freedom, physical freedom from things going on, maybe even financial freedom. I think that's a really important question to consider as you're looking at your journey and how you're going to get started in that. Because doTERRA does offer products for your health, physical health, and your financial health as well. Mom, would you add anything about that slide? Would you say anything else?
No, it's really about what you want and what you need. It's not about us. So if there's something that you're interested in and learning more about this is what we're here for, but it's always what you want and at your pace.
I'm going to stop sharing for a little bit, and I think we should do Q&A just to make sure we're not missing anything if people have questions.
Yeah, I had a question, and I'm totally honest with people. I mean, I'm 59 years old and I've been doing this for 7 years, and I love the relationship piece. So one of the questions I got was, does doTERRA pay you so you're an employee or a contractor? I don't even know how to answer that question. That's just because of the way my brain is. Oh, Danielle knows.
So the difference would be like, do they send you for a W-2 or a 1099? That's the easiest way tax-wise to know the difference for what it is.
So
smart. We should pay Danielle money for knowing these things. So we get a 1099.
So a 1099 is technically a contracted employee.
These are glasses that make her smart.
I know, my goodness.
It's blue light glasses.
I was gonna say, I think they're blue light blocking. Oh, I'm so smart too. Just
sorry. Yeah, you
are. Good question.
So to the person who asked that, hopefully that answers your question.
Sample ideas. Debbie, tell us more what you're thinking. Tell us more about that question. Debbie's like, darn it.
Yeah, so you would have to account for the taxes that you would need to owe on your income. And
They'll send you that 1099 if you make over 600 in a year, and then you'll get that in January from doTERRA. Oh my. Okay, what samples to start with? Well, I think that if you're starting cold, you're going to be reaching out to people and kind of like knowing specifically what's going on, like asking what's going on with them, or maybe knowing like, oh, I know emotionally this is a really hard time for them, or like, I know their back hurts. So you're either going to kind of know those things or you're going to ask them. It's going to be the most effective thing. You can, I feel like a step out of it is maybe saying like, what's a way I can just like make up 10 adaptive samples or 10 deep blue samples and be like, this is like my number one oil for pain right now, you know, and go about doing it in that way too. Hopefully that helps. I'm trying to think of some others. I've been doing a lot of adaptive, a lot of deep blue, like, I don't know, TMJ, grinding your teeth at night. I don't know. Yeah, right. Like lots of different things. Sometimes it's just 2 Serenity. It doesn't count. Don't tell anybody I said this, but like 2 Serenity soft gels in a little thing. It doesn't always have to be complicated, but I think customizing is usually best. Mom, what would you say?
I just really like to give people the 4 categories. Do you have issues in any of these areas? Does your stomach hurt? Do you have pain somewhere? Do you have trouble sleeping? And are you feeling stressed? And most people can identify with one of those 4 areas. And then you just have your samples ready to go, your little quarter drams and your little envelopes, or you drop it off. It just so happens that we live in the middle of nowhere, so we're usually mailing our samples. But that I like to do it by category.
Fun logistical facts. The class in a box that doTERRA has now has the quarter jams in it and different things that you would need. A bunch of 5 ml wild oranges that are like, I would buy the class in a box just for the value of those oils alone, because that's a great thing to be like, you're ready to grab a kit, I'll gift you a wild orange. And to use those as like incentives, or like, come to my class, you know, I've got a wild orange for everyone who comes to my class, a gift for you, and using them that way. So be sure to check that out in your account. They're really good.
I guess I just want to say that we have such an amazing, we've worked really hard, Amy and I, and Amy especially has worked really hard to create these Essential Oils Made Easy classes that anyone could invite anyone to. So we just really want people to take advantage of what we're doing and utilize our materials and our things and see what it's like. You know, maybe commit to, I'm going to try this for 6 months and I'm going to commit this much amount of time and I'm going to see how it works.
Pam asked, so is it a percentage of sales or really how many people are selling for you? It's more a percentage of sales than how many people are selling or partnering with you. Like the more people have partnered with you and are helping other people get oils in their hands, like your sales are higher ultimately. But it's more like when you looked at the different bonuses and different ways you're getting paid, it's more about like overall sales, like what's going on. There's some things about structure and things like that. So it's kind of a combination. I say it's a mixed bag, but I wouldn't ever say like you're getting paid on how many people are selling for you. That's not like a phrase that I would use for our compensation plan. On one of the CE classes, you mean? Saturday CE classes. We, as a sample class, like for somebody who's new, somebody who's new could attend those. You mean like to send it to somebody and say, here's a sample? See, what people, like we just had one this last Saturday, she invited her to just attend it and they just have them hop on that way. The reason they're not recorded is because, you know, we record like everything. It's kind of like the perk of like, you're going to take the time to be on, like, it's kind of like get yourself there. And yeah, really, that's like kind of the tune of that. But so they're not recorded right now, but you can bring somebody.
I also think that people tend to chat and say things that aren't super compliant. And we try to stay on the good side of the law at all times and not make medical claims.
sometimes Saturday CE classes are a little more in the weeds. Like, ooh. Okay, good. Other questions? Yeah, I know, right? I have some people who have like you get yourself there, you get a free roller or whatever. Like some of my there's a like that fine line between like incentivizing somebody to get there because then they're like, oh, this is great value. I'll be there every Saturday, and also being like, if you want it, you got to get yourself there on Saturday, right? I had one leader who was like, I think I've incentivized my people to death. So yeah, I know. I think that if there's a specific Saturday morning class that you know would be perfect for your sisters or for each one, get them a sample of one of those oils that we talk about ahead of time, get them a positive experience and be like, hop on that class and you're going to hear us talk more about that and other things, in that topical sense.
And I actually, you have your own, you can do what you want. So I recently have somebody that I work with who works in a certain industry that is always working on Saturday morning. So she had a group of people that really wanted to learn and are always working. So I encouraged her, the two of us did it together. We took one of those CE classes on a Saturday morning and we adapted it and we worked it and we did it for her people. And we had a nice turnout and people felt really cared for. So there are times that we can do that too.
Sometimes I bend my rules. Very rarely.
I
Just
know. I might be a little bit more.
oh yeah. She signs me up for that stuff. Did I just get voluntold? I think I just was voluntold.
Oh, we're so different, guys. Is it so obvious or what? How did I give birth to this person?
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. All right, ladies.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, it was good. If you have other things that come up or questions, reach out to one of us or whoever's your person, okay? And hey, November team call is going to be good. And November, I'm serious, like this is like the best time to be considering this. November and December are awesome, super fun months. So be on that call and we'll talk about things coming up, okay?
Have a great evening. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.